and
Where?
well,
Where's
there's
the flaw?
a lot of places, and I would suggest axe throwing for the party. Stuff on the side.
Williamsburg.
So, people accuse me of not liking the Baltimore Ravens and not liking Lamar Jackson, and that's
True.
not the case. That's not the case at all. And what I don't like is where Nick has them here, and he throws off. Oh, they have 2 losses recently. They do, but they have 2 losses against teams that are on the top of the tiers, with the Eagles and the Steelers, and they lost by a combined 7 points. And we can say that the kicker wasn't an issue, but against the Steelers, what was it? Two missed field goals and a missed extra point.
Yep.
And then he had the two missed field goals against the Eagles as well. I think they're extremely dangerous, and if you move them up to where Green Bay and the Chargers are, or not the Chargers, the Rams are, because you love both those teams.
I love the Rams.
The Packers and Jordan Love, he's getting the Jalen Hurts treatment. 13 completions in 3 out of the last 4 games. They're trying to manage him so he doesn't lose the game. And then I know you love the offense for the Rams, and I do too, but they've got some pretty big issues defensively as well. So I'd say before you eliminate Lamar Jackson and all the explosive things that offense can do and kind of throw him into sort of this junk pile, I think you should really consider who's up above him.
This is why it's important to have a committee, because you can see through Coach right there what can happen if you rely on just one man's opinion, because external biases can come into play. Did you see how Coach prefaced this whole thing? Coach, people don't know this, has been attacked by people close to him and afar for an alleged Ravens bias. He doesn't have a Ravens bias. He's a Ravens truth teller. He's a Ravens truth teller typically.
Like
but now he has overcorrected because he wants to have one of his kids who knows how the internet works send him this clip. Be like, hey, look, I defended your guys. But deep down, Coach knows this. When the games matter, if the Ravens and Rams defenses, let's say they're equal, you're going with Stafford over Lamar just like I am. You trust McVay and Stafford more than Lamar and Harbaugh, just like I do.
I really like
Harbaugh. I like Harbaugh too. I like McVay more. And again, Coach also did a thing similar to what Danny did this morning on Breakfast Ball, which is we can't, again, with a team that has 5 losses, we can't just be like, well, the last 2 were against good teams, because the previous 2 were against the Browns and the Raiders.
How many losses do the Rams have?
Not that many when they're fully whole.
But how many?
6.
So
different story. Not that many wins. It's a different story. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, first off, what is Nick doing? He wants to call out what Mangini's doing. Okay, Nick, well, you have the Rams and the Packers on the same category. If the defenses were all equal and all that's good, who are you going to trust, Jordan Love or Matthew Stafford? We know the answer. He put Jordan Love on pumpkin watch, and yet he still has the Packers side by side with the Rams. So why can't you elevate the Ravens then? This is what I said in my clip when I looked at the mountain before, or the tiers as a whole, that the Ravens absolutely need to be elevated and higher. If you're not afraid of what the Ravens can do, well, then you're just not paying attention. I understand the Ravens have some flaws. Their defense has been lacking. I get all of those things. They've had a few games where they made some questionable decisions offensively, and Justin Tucker and all that. That's all fair. And I've criticized the Ravens plenty. But I don't get pushed or pulled, depending on what I say. I have people rip me and praise me, and honestly, no matter what I say, that because I try to see things very accurately and not just pick one side and run with it to the end of time, I change my mind. I'll say a little bit of this, I'll say a little bit of that. I end up just annoying plenty of people. Like just today, or the other day, I posted an Eagles video, and I've been having Eagles fans praise me and say, oh, yeah, you're this, you're this, you're this. But if I then say, hey, what about Hurts and Sirianni? They rip me and say I lose all credibility and all of that. Ravens fans, when I've said things about Lamar Jackson or just the Ravens team as a whole, Harbaugh, again, it's like if I say something positive, I'm a genius. If I say something negative, I don't know what I'm talking about. But again, because I am not pushed and pulled by, I don't have kids that are going to send me clips on the internet, like Nick put it about Mangini, I think when I make a statement like this, it should hold more weight. When I'm saying that the Ravens are a lot more dangerous. It's not to say that I'm right necessarily, but it should still hold a little bit more weight because I haven't just said nothing but 1000% positives about the Ravens or nothing but 100% negative about the Ravens. That's why you got to be honest with what you're seeing. That's always been my problems with takes like for the Chiefs, or really the Chiefs are the best example here, obviously, because Nick, just no matter what they do, no matter how they play, it's just always 100% unconditional positivity. And that's just not the way you do it. And so, yeah, there's plenty to criticize the Ravens, but you can criticize the Chiefs, the Lions, the Eagles, the Bills, the Vikings, the Steelers, we go on and on and on. And that's why I still think that the Ravens, I don't have them in the category where they're with the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Eagles, and the Bills right now. I don't have them right there just because of some of their issues, and I do question their coaching, unlike Mangini. I'm not a big Harbaugh fan personally. So much of my views fall on Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry more than anything, and what I believe they're going to start to do offensively, and how I think that there's going to be a somewhat shift. And I think the fact that they're coming out of the bye, they're going to get some things right, and then they get to play the Giants where they're favored 16. Is that the most of the season so far? That's the most that I've seen, or the most that I remember seeing. I mean, that is crazy. So that's going to be an awesome get right game. And I think the Ravens will be significantly better post-bye. I really do. I really, really do. And I just, Nick talks about, right, don't want to see them round one in terms of the Packers and the Rams. Who wants to see the Ravens? You want to keep betting on Lamar Jackson not being able to handle big games, and it's just not true. I just do not see it that way. I just don't. And I don't even think there's really evidence for that. You can point to previous games and all of that, and I'll point to bad coaching, youth, bad luck, unfortunate circumstances, whatever. But this is not a guy who plays great, and then when it's a big game or a big moment, he's just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And that's what Nick keeps acting like Lamar Jackson is with the Ravens. That's why he keeps doing the whole, Aaron Judge and James Harden and that he, that Lamar shrinks in these moments. And I just don't think it. I just don't see it that way. And I'm gonna and until I see different evidence for that, that's the way how I'm going to view it. But yeah, it's to think that the Ravens are that flawed, because listen, I know Nick does not think the Texans are very good. He does not think that CJ Stroud is very good. He's made fun of him throughout this entire season, and has made fun of him for him trying to be supportive of Caleb Williams, of just actually being a good human being and trying to give him a pep talk and be like, hey man, you got this, let's go. Made fun of him and said he's been downhill ever since that moment. And so I know he does not think the Texans are good. And so then to have him on the same level as that, like, that's how you know. And again, there's only so many teams around now, so it's not like he's going to have like the Raiders above them or something like that. So it's like this when you look at this right now, it's like realistically it's as low as you could put the Ravens without it feeling like you're now just trolling, is really what I'm trying to argue more than anything. So that's how you know what he feels about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson as well. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Baltimore Ravens? Do you think that the committee has wrongly put the Packers and the Rams ahead of them? Where do you think the Ravens should be? Do you think that they are still a very dangerous team moving into the end of the season, into the playoffs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.